Have you ever clicked on a website and thought, wow, this looks so trustworthy? Or the other way around, that this is not the website who I can trust. So this all comes down to uh, three or main pillar of the any good website, and one of them is font style, which one we choose so that it resonates with our brand. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about which fonts you should choose and what you need to keep in mind when you are choosing your fonts. So now let's get into this video and then talk and then I will show you what you have to do. So I have created this Miro board so that we can keep track of what we are talking about. So why your font choice can make or break your brand. So now let's talk about the first part, which is font set the tone of your brand. Fonts are not just the style which you choose, but it also set the emotion in the customer journey. Like, so when we are talking about the Times New Roman fonts, we see that as a serious and traditional font. But when we talk about Helvetica font, then we are talking about the modern and clean. And when we are talking about the scripted font, then we see that as elegant and even luxurious. The second someone has sees your font style, they have already judged what is your brand persona, what you are trying to convey, and that's why you need to make sure that you are choosing the correct font style whenever you are designing the website and whatever you are doing to your website related to fonts. So this was part 1. Now let's talk about the part 2, which is serif versus sans serif. So now let's talk about where do we use serif and where do we use sans serif. Serif is usually based for the university purposes or law firm, and also any of the places where we need to make sure that our authority is high. Now when we talk about sans serif fonts, that where we use sans serif, then sans serif is being widely used in startup web and any other website which is related to tech. Now let's talk about the third part, which is readability and creativity. So this is also one of the important part of choosing font family, because in this case you will see that what are the importance of readability and creatability. You need to make sure that your fonts are clearly visible. The user can see what you are trying to convey in your content. Don't try to use too much flashy font when you are designing the website. You need to make sure that you are not designing the website just for looking it good, but you also need to make sure that they can read it clearly without focusing too much on what is written. Now let's talk about the fourth point, which is font hierarchy. This means that your font should guide the user to tell them that this is the important part of the website. Let's suppose if you are designing the hero section, you need to make sure that you are putting the main content as a H1 in the hero section so that they can know that this is what they do, and this is why they have used this content as a H1. And also if you are writing the subheading, you need to make sure that you are choosing the font style which matches with the H1 tag, and also it follows the message which you have written in the H1 tag. So this is what the font hierarchy means. In this case, your font style or your font will guide the user to take the next action. Now let's talk about the part 5, which is common mistakes. Most of the business owner choose too many fonts, which I don't recommend. You should stick with mainly 2 or 3 font style which you can use in your website, and try to avoid too much flashy font style in your website. Also, the other mistakes which I see is people use default fonts which feels too generic and too common. in today's era. So you need to make sure that you are spending some time in finding the good font style for your website. Now let's talk about the example in action, which is our part 6. Now think about the website Wag and the New York Times that always screams authority and credibility because they are using the sans serif font. Now think about the Google and Airbnb website. They use a sans serif and it feels friendly, modern, and simple. That's why you need to choose the font intelligently. Both work in this case because they identify what their business is and which font they should use according to their brands. Now let's talk about part 7 of this video, which is quick tips for choosing the fonts. So before doing anything related to font, you need to make sure that what is your persona, what is your brand identity that you want to convey. Once you have your brand persona, then you can look in some of the website that uh, some of the websites like Google Fonts, and some of the best font style I use for free in my website design, which is Montserrat is one of them. The other one is Inter, and the third one is Output. These three are the free font you can use in any of the website or any of the platform. Like I used to I design the website in Figma and I use mainly these three fonts, and these are balanced in all the way. So if you don't know and if you are beginner in choosing the font style, then you can go with any of these three font style. Now you also need to make sure that what font style you are using for your heading and what font style you are using for your subheading, and which font style you are using for your call to action button. And you need to make sure that you are consistent throughout the website in keeping the font style consistent. So I have tried to explain all the things in this video related to font choice. This is not the only thing which makes your brand stand out, but this is one of the important pillar of your website which you can keep in mind when you are designing your next landing page or next website. So this was all about this video. If you find this video useful, make sure to like it and subscribe it so that you will see more videos like this in upcoming days. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.